This video is going to be a trigger warning because some people are going to be triggered by this. Some of you, I'm just going to say you're going to be triggered. So,
FLame Monroe.
Good morning.
Now, if you've seen my beautiful sister Tiffany Haddish's Netflix special, They Ready, then you've seen FLame Monroe. Flame
fans. I brought you a fan, NB.
Okay,
this is for you. And I brought you this one, dear.
What's on this goddamn
It's
plan?
appropriate for you.
Well, I know it's some bullshit.
Let me see if you can pop it. Now, it goes the weight of the fan.
How you doing?
The weight of the fan. No, the weight goes this way. So if it falls this way, it goes like that. So you just hold the first rib and drop it.
Oh, shit, so all the time y'all don't be popping your
NB already got it. No, you don't pop your wrist.
NB been doing this for a long time.
Shut up, man.
All right.
Shut up.
NB got better dresses at the house than you. I guarantee it, Flame. I guarantee it.
Charlamagne, did you see what that says, Charlamagne?
Mother had you, mother love you, mother fuck you.
Hey.
I just got fan the flame.
That's all you needed, because I got the one that's important. Can't no bitch do what I do.
There you go. Now, Monroe, before I ask you who is FLame Monroe, I have to talk about this booking email. He, she, we bookings.
He, she, we.
At gmail.com.
Let me explain it. He, she, we. You see that?
Yes.
He, she, we. He, she, we.
He, she, we.
He, she, we is my pronoun.
Okay.
Because he cash a check, she get the money, we spend it. Same bitch right here. He, she, we. One bitch. The man in me been pimping the woman in me for 25 years. Marcus Parker don't make no money, but FLame Monroe, that bitch is a killer. Yeah, but checks don't come in FLame Monroe.
Yeah, I had to ask because like every time Tiffany would hit me about you, she would say he, she, we, and I'm like, I know y'all friends.
That's
but
my own creative pronoun because
okay.
The trannies, the gay community is so up in arms about the whole pronoun. What name you call me? Nigga, did the check clear?
timeline, so I don't have to. I wish things could be more easier. I'm trying to get a vibe going here. A vibe going. Okay, great. Let's see what vibe. It's too early to be doing EDM, so EDM with a little bit of hip hop. I think that's what we're gonna go for. Gummy bears always set the mood. I'm so clumsy. There's a rule: when you drop something on the floor, you got 10 seconds before it goes full. I'm gonna step into the transgender friendly lighting. Because we all have to have that special transgender friendly lighting before we type our shit. Oh no. Okay, on second thought, maybe eating something off the floor is not the best thing. It was just only a couple of them, but I wanted just to do a little touch up. All right, sweetie, this mix is nice. Sounds better than the original one. Has anyone else tried this this NYX HD finishing powder? NYX and Wet n Wild, no shade, they're coming up. They are saying, honey, Mac and Bobby Brown is not going to get all the girls, honey. Very affordable and very high quality. And fuck what you're going through. Those little setting sprays, they're good and everything, but this Paul Mitchell Extra Hole, honey, she's going nowhere with her on. I just wanted to say, anyone that wants to join this conversation, you're more than welcome to chime in, because I know there's going to be a lot of different opinions on this, and I've been off of Facebook for like for a week now because of the fact that I've been so busy with my Postmates thing, and it's hard for a girl out here. Yes, honey. Also, off topic just a little bit. If anyone has tried this magnetic thing by Kiss, please let me know. Inbox me, because honey, I didn't even realize it until I got home. But she's like $16, and I was like, okay, let me hold off on opening her, because bitch, $16 is hard to come by nowadays, and I need to know what she's giving before I open her, because she's going right back to CVS if she's not. Okay, so FLame Monroe. Let's see. Yes, Janice, that is an old drag queen tip. Using hairspray as a setting spray. Actually, if you go to YouTube, and you'll see like a lot of beauty bloggers have actually did the test of like hairspray versus setting spray, and that's just an old trick to get the spray to stay longer. Would be a man that's saying giggly tits. I was just watching the Flame Monroe. Okay, so here are my thoughts on the Flame Monroe thing. Okay, and I'm going to choose my words very carefully here, because I realize that certain things can trigger certain people, and certain things can be interpreted a certain way. Okay, let me get comfortable. Alright, I saw Flame Monroe on T.S. Madison, bits and pieces, and I've been hearing her name a lot. And I must say, she has very interesting views. I think that I'm going to start off by saying this. The thing that people need to realize is that, whether you like it or not, but the overwhelming majority of the world is heterosexual and cisgender. Okay. That being said, you may feel a certain way, you may want to be expressed a certain way, but that does not mean that everyone else is going to feel the way that you feel. Now, I think the biggest thing about the LGBT community is that this is a very interesting time, because like, we're so about equality, about like, oh, be yourself, you know, come as you are. But then we try to police other people, specifically the trans community, when it comes to how people address us, what type of pronouns they use. And let's just be honest, you know, respect and everything is cool, but that's not how the world works. And from that standpoint, I can honestly say that really say that that's where the problem comes in, because, and I've said this many times before, I mean, Flame Monroe, I saw her Breakfast Club interview. I agree with like 90% of what she had to say. You know, I can see where the problematic comes in, but the fact of the matter is that you can call yourself whatever, a tree, a woman, a dog, you know, whatever. But see, the problem comes in is when people, you know, no matter how many stats you put up or scientific studies that show that, you know, people are born this way, most people do not care enough to even go into it, because they're going off of what they see, they're going off of what they've been taught. And I think that that's where the big gap comes in, because most cisgender people they respect the gays and the lesbians because they really realize that that's a sexual orientation, or as they like to say, lifestyle. You know, however, when it comes to cisgender people, both straight and gay and lesbian, you know, there's a big gap there because of the fact that people are not going to get it. And then it gets more complicated. Where are you, Tony Blackwood? Where am I? I'm at home, honey. Good morning, Alfred. So what I'm trying to say is that it gets more complicated because of the fact that you throw in the binary and the non-binary. And oops, now we got people that just feel trans. They don't look trans. They don't even look like they're trying to accomplish trans. You know, they're just binary. They're just non-binary. You know, literally, and I've said this before, literally, Bob can be Bob on Friday. And then by Monday, he feels like a trans woman. So he's gonna go into the women's restroom because he feels like a trans woman, and you can't stop him. You can't tell him anything else because of the fact that, hey, if I feel this way, then I should be respected this way. That's where the problem comes in. And the problem, and when I say the problem, is that a lot of other trans people don't understand that, and then they see a problem with it. So guess what? The females probably see a problem with that too. I'm not trying to defend anyone, but I'm just trying to tell people like how the whole spectrum of the world sees it. You know, by now most people know that I was an extra on the series Insecure like a couple weeks ago. And if you haven't heard this story, I'm going to just tell you really briefly. You know, I was the only visibly trans woman on the set with like rainbow cotton candy hair, because the role required a trans woman, so I wanted to give him a trans woman. Proudly. Unapologetically. And, you know, long story short, you know, I carried myself proudly, very, you know, zero fucks given. However, I noticed that the uncomfortableness started when I started going to use the women's restroom. And I know that feeling of uncomfort because I'm very familiar with that. I'm very familiar with, like, you know, when I was 20 years old and I worked at AT&T as a customer service representative, and basically all the females were, hey, oh, they were cool and kiki with me and everything like that. But when I used that restroom, honey, that's when the true feelings came out. And back then, well, respectfully, you know, I was told by Human Resources that I had to go use the restroom on the other floor, which was like the 9th floor. We were on the 5th floor. And I gagged, but at the same time, I would take full advantage of that. Because, you know, honey, they would know that it would probably take me like a good 20 minutes when I would have a restroom break. So, bitch, I took advantage of that. But going back to the reason I'm telling you this is because, and that was back in 2000, you know, there's nothing that I can say or I can do if a female feels that sharing a restroom with me makes her uncomfortable. So I basically bit the bullet, and of course I didn't have female on my ID at the time, so, you know, I didn't make a big deal of it. But I'm just letting you guys know that little situations like that is very similar to this. Beverly said you should understand it takes time to adjust. It takes a lot of time to adjust, and for the most part, it's very confusing to people. I won't even say I think, but I believe, hold on one second, because I have to multitask here. Alright, so I think the thing that when I saw her on the Breakfast Club and about how DJ Envy and Angela, not Angela Yee, because Angela is beefing with Charlamagne, that's a totally different thing, how Charlamagne and DJ Envy was basically embracing her. Now, I'm going to say this. I feel like FLame Monroe, her opinions and her her, she's ahead of her time. Because a lot of, honey, I've said the same thing. And one of the things that I notice about this community, when I say this community, the transgender community, anything that is deemed unlike the, unlike the mainstream or unlike the popular opinion is deemed problematic. And you know what happens to you when you're problematic? You're silenced, you're deplatformed. I mean, in a way, you're blacklisted. And that is the same. See, that type of energy, that type of behavior is one of the reasons why a lot of people can't take us seriously, because of the fact that we're not even united, like, as one, like, together. This is one of the reasons why I left the Tea Time Network. People still think I'm associated with the Tea Time Network. They have their views, I have my views. But a lot of my views are very much like on a different level. And I'm going to say this, because people don't believe this when I say this. And I have to, like, show people this as a way, like, to prove my point here. Because this pretty much says everything. Now, and mind you, this was 2010. One of my most popular albums when I did music was called Boy, Girl, Whatever. I was not trying to be controversial or anything like that. I was identifying as a two-spirited person back then. Now, if you were to ask, like, pronoun-wise, would I like to be identified by? Yes, a she. However, I have gotten to a point in my transition, a point in my self-confidence, and just being confident of who I am, that pronouns do not bother me. Like, if someone misgenders me, then it's I don't know, you should understand it too. Oh, okay. If someone misgenders me, then okay, so what? Let's move on. If anything, if someone misgenders me, I'm like, okay, I'm a man. So, is that all you have? Because I'm going to tell you something. Most people will misgender a trans person because they know it gets them off. And they know it gets them riled up. And sometimes I feel like you guys have to understand. I'm not saying that you have to accept what people are saying, but you can only control how you react to a situation. And I have noticed, why even worry about? Exactly. What I've noticed lately, I've noticed that people have been triggering me on purpose. Like, they will, bitch, the things that I get in my DMs, I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, oh, you want a reaction? Bitch, I have gotten everything in the last year from, like, niggas, fine ass guys coming in my inbox, and then, I'm thinking we're about to get it popping, and then he'll say something like, hey, you gonna pay for my Uber? I heard you're the Uber girl. Like that. And then I would go off. But then lately, I don't give them a reaction whatsoever. Because you have to identify when a person just wants a reaction out of you. Recently, I had someone come in my inbox and ask for, hey, can I get Milan's number? Now, many of y'all know that Milan is one of my ex-best friends, also from the Tea Time show. And I've said multiple times before that one of the things that I irk the most is like when, in the past, when we were at the mall or whatever, guys will literally break their neck trying to get my attention just to ask me, can I get your Asian girlfriends? And I've said in the past about how that made me feel. I'm not in that point anymore. I realized that, okay, all right, and I told this person this too, okay, you want her information, everything like that. Okay, well, you're going to have to give me a finder's fee. Because first of all, it does not benefit me to give you her information, and second of all, we're not friends anymore. So I really have no loyalty to her, but at the same time, I have no loyalty to you to give you her information. So guess what? You need to pay a finder's fee. If you want her number that bad, give a finder's fee. He didn't want to hear that. All right, move on. Not the reaction he was looking for, but yeah. And going back to the reason I brought that up is because I think that we need to get to a point where we have to realize that, just like FLame Monroe, child, those are little small things. Oh my God, misgendered. Oh my God, they're not taking us. I feel like the reason that most people like FLame Monroe is because she is saying the uncomfortable truth. Whatever you identify as, the uncomfortable truth is that you were born male or female. This is aside from what you identify as. This is aside from what you have transitioned as. And when you understand that, when that can be understood and accepted, then I think that we can have the conversation with bridging us with the straight cis, because there is a big difference. There is a huge difference between a trans woman and a female. It's a different struggle. Now, depending on who you ask, our struggle may be the worst. Depending on if you ask some females, their struggles may be the worst. The fact is that we are different. And I think that the problem comes in is that a lot of times we want to be acknowledged for the trans woman we are, but then we want to step over the female struggle and be like, well, you're not as good as I am. I'm a better version of you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all of us do that, but I'm just saying, and on top of that, when it comes to the non-binaries, Samantha with the full beard, no wig, no nothing, but she's transgender. I kind of feel like that's like the karma that we get when we basically come at some of the, when we try to ask some of these people to accept us as we are. And we have to be understanding that not everyone is going to accept it. That's just the hard truth of it. Not everyone's going to accept it. You don't let it trigger you out, but I do correct them and I move on. Now, see, I'm going to say that I agree with about 90% of what FLame Monroe had to say. The only thing that I don't so much agree with is the fact that when she said that we're trying to, we need to stop trying to shove our lifestyle down people's throats. Well, I think that the wording that she used for that was off, because I think that what she's trying to say is that, because I have a problem with the lifestyle, because I don't view this as a lifestyle. I view this as a life. This is my life that I live. However, I do realize that others that do not live this life are going to view it as a lifestyle. Others are going to view it as a costume. I think that that's where the character part comes in. But I think that one of the reasons why so many of the cisgender, especially the blacks, embrace her is because of the fact that, here's a person that is unapologetically a man, unapologetically a dad, unapologetically, but I still get up in it. And I think that is the truth. That's where people accept it, because, so many trans people, I feel like we're so caught up in this, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a woman, I'm a female. And honey, that can be you, but I'm just saying not everybody is going to accept that, and you have to be really understanding to that. And when we're not understanding to that, that's where the gap comes in. That's where the gap comes in. Same thing with like a lot of black females. A lot of black females have to understand and accept at some point that their sons, their boyfriends, their husbands, there's a reason why he keeps coming back to a trans woman. Another thing that FLame Monroe said, and this is, I think she said this on T.S. Madison's show, she may have said this on the Breakfast Club, is that a lot of times that these men are, when it comes to like trans attracted men or whatever, they're not, I think this was in reference to the Malik Yoba thing. They're not coming to see us because we're a woman. They're coming to see us because we are, we have a certain part, or they're attracted to that certain energy. I think that's very important that be pointed out, because, that is the truth. That is the truth of the matter. You know, I recently did a joke on my fucking ex-sugar daddy. You know, really young sugar daddy. And I told him that I had got a sex change. And it went a little bit too far. Bitch, he was up out of here and haven't seen him since. Last of the thing I heard is that he was going to Jaguar. You know, that's what he said. And, you know, shout out to Jaguar and everything. But I know she's breaking that backhand, honey. And, you know, she's known for her big piece. But that it just goes to show you that not every guy... When guys come to see you as a trans woman, they want the trans woman. Now, as far as girls that are post-op, that's a whole totally different situation. I can't really speak on that because I'm not a post-op. But that's where the gap is. I feel that the gap is going to continue to be there because of the fact that we are in this. People perceive us as like, oh, you gotta accept that I'm a woman. You gotta accept that I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm more of a woman than she is. And you gotta accept that. And here's where the problem comes in. Here's Bob over here with a full-grown beard, a dress, and she's a woman. Oh no, she's not a real woman. That's not no real woman. That's where the problem comes in too. God. And we have to stop silencing people that we deemed problematic. We need to stop putting people that we deem problematic in the corner. Because that shit is gonna stop. That shit is gonna keep us stagnated. You know, it's interesting that the Tea Time Network had a conversation about this today, and honey, they've called me for every other thing, but child, they did not want me to chime in on this one. Let me just tell you this, and I'm gonna just say this. This is not a diss to Tea Time Network. This is not a diss to anyone, but everyone has a right to their own opinion, whether you agree or disagree. The more you try to silence someone or control how they think, or like, oh, you should do this, the more it's going to be resentment. There's going to be opposition, and that's all I have to say. Because I mean, I know people are going to see this as problematic. I know people are going to like, you know, but honey, I feel like FLame Monroe, I like her because she's the quintessential girl that represents me. She represents a lot of girls in the community. And what the community like to do is that they like to silence her. They like to call her problematic. But then their behavior towards girls like that are problematic because of the fact that that behavior is the same behavior that you're basically saying that you're getting. Yeah. You have to understand that we come in so many different shades. We come in so many different... Let me get in this fucking transgender-friendly lighting here. Because, honey, we come in so many different shades, honey. And sometimes you can sweep things under the rug for so long, honey. Because sometimes when you sweep things under the rug, that rug is going to move eventually. And child, all that dirt that is going to be under that rug, honey. It's going to be some tea. It's going to be some tea. That's all I got to say on that. Pose. Child, I've been hearing some things about Pose, honey, but I'm going to keep that to myself. All I'm going to say is that them children that's on Pose as extras and everything, come on here to Hollywood and be an extra on one of these movie sets or one of these like shows where you're the only visible GLBTQ person, and trust, the treatment that you get on Pose as an extra will be grand compared to the treatment you get out here, honey. Y'all have not seen no real shit, honey. But anyways, these things are so addictive and I should not be in them. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna actually put some more transgender friendly lighting all throughout this house. You saw how this just softens me up. This is the real reason Alright, transgender friendly lighting. It's so important. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.